talk about the etiquette of following and following back in Twitter. Now, the reason that we're on Twitter is to make connections with folks, and so this is a really important part of the entire experience. And there's sort of a little bit of back and forth that goes with this, and I'd just love to give you my philosophy on this, and hopefully you'll find this to be helpful. All right, so first of all, following, right? One thing that you're going to want to do when you're trying to build an audience is to invite people to follow you. And the way that you do that, or the most overt way to do that, is to actually follow someone. That, in effect, serves as an invitation. Usually, unless they have the settings set to not do this, they'll get a notification that says so-and-so followed you. And to me, at that point, that's an invite for you to follow me back. And keep in mind, if you don't do that, I'm likely to unfollow you. There's absolutely no reason, if you're using this to build an audience, there's absolutely no reason for you to follow someone and not have them follow you back, because you will be absolutely invisible to them. So it's of no use. Now, the only exception to that is if they have you added to a list. And you'll be able to tell that if they're sharing stuff that you've posted. There are other indicators about that. But for the most part, I'll follow someone, treat that as an invite. If they don't follow me back, I'll give them a week or two, and then I'll unfollow. And I would expect the same. You know, I'm not here to be a fan or a follower. I'm here to connect with people who are interesting, who might be interested in the stuff that I'm doing, but also it's reciprocal. And, you know, theoretically, I should be showing interest in what they're doing too. That's why, I mean, look, it's a social space, right? This is not meant for promotion, and it's not meant for broadcast. And I'm not saying that you can't do that type of thing. You can, as long as it's a very small percentage of what you're actually doing on the platform. Just remember, social space, you need to be social. It needs to be bi-directional. So let me show you a little bit of, via my own Twitter account, just to show you a little bit of how I handle this and how I can move through this quickly. This doesn't need to be something that takes over your whole life. I mean, if you devote 10 or 15 minutes to it every day, you'll find that you can grow a really nice audience and a really nice community around the things that you're interested in. So let's look at my own Twitter feed. Okay, so here is my Twitter, and I'm at the home page right here. And let's see, let's go to notifications, which is usually where I start. So click there, and you get a series of notifications, and usually I'll sort of go back to, if I'm doing this every day, I only really have to go back one day. So what I'll do is, here's the easiest way to do this, is okay, there's folks, as you can see, who have retweeted, who have favorited, who have interacted with me, or who have followed. So generally what I'll do is go through these folks right here and click on the profile, and what this guy has done right here, I can see he's favorited, so he's not followed me, but you know what? There's a couple things that I look for. One, this guy seems to be reputable. He's following about as many followers, or has as many followers as he is following. That means he's sort of, trying to be a good participant here. If this ratio is out of balance, then you know that someone's there is either a mega celebrity, and they're not going to be paying attention to you anyway, or they're not being a good actor in the space. So I usually look for a balance here. So sure, here, I'll give a follow to this guy, and we'll see if he follows me back. He's already favorited a tweet, so he's probably interested in the same things here. Here's Heather Coleman Voss. She's, I know we're connected because she shares articles in a collection. She shares articles of mine in a collection of hers, and I really appreciate that. So what I want to do is just say, hey, thank you, Heather. And that will be a nice thing to do. And I really appreciate her doing that for me, so that's excellent. Now let's see, go to Andrew. We're already following one another. Notice he follows me. Great. I follow him. This is wonderful. He's, retweeted. Now let's look at these folks right here. Okay, we're both following one another. So see, and I'm just using, by the way, the escape button. So I'll click on this, do an assessment. Okay. And then I can click escape to get out of it. Let me use this as a good example. Here's someone who It has a good balance here, but this is probably not the type of thing that I want to follow. First of all, it's only pictures. I got the sense that this is probably inappropriate. I could block this person if I wanted to, or report. The easiest thing to do is just not to follow. And probably this person will go away at some point. So had an interaction with this guy Nathan, really smart guy. I've already talked to him. I'll just hit favorite just because I appreciate what his new project, really good stuff. All right, so and then you'll get a stack of folks who have followed, and let's go through this. So see, I can do this very quickly. Do a quick review. We're following one another. Hit escape. Quick review. Okay, scheduling. You know, I'll give these guys a shot. Great. They've given me an invite. I'll return that back. This may or may not be good, but look, it's in the same realm here. Content marketing. We'll follow them. What about these guys? Probably about the same. You know, these guys probably came upon my articles or something, and that's good. Okay, now this is someone, look, you don't need to follow everyone here. I look at a couple things. This looks a little suspicious, so you know, I don't know if I'd want to follow her, so I'll just let that one go without it, you know. This one, hair loss advice, you know, I don't know. Here's the thing that I would say about this. I'm going to follow them, and here's why. You have to think a little bit differently about Twitter than you do about Facebook, for instance. And here's what I mean by that. Twitter, remember, being an open network and you're trying to grow an audience, you don't know who your audience is in particular. I mean, there's your audience, the people who will be interested directly in the same things that you are. And then there are folks who influence those people. And so you don't know, right? That the person that you're following, for me, I'm interested in content strategy, content marketing, audience building. Suppose, and I'm usually serving either writers or small businesses, okay? So suppose that someone on my, I'm connected with on Twitter, suppose they have a brother or an aunt or a friend who's running a small business. They read one of my articles. They tell their brother or aunt or friend at the next cookout or dinner party or whatever, hey, I was reading this article by this guy, it was really smart, you should go check it out. I mean, that could work for me, it could work for you. So to me, there's not really a good reason to turn anyone away. If you follow, you give someone a chance and they start posting inappropriate content, you don't want to see them in your feed, it's easy to just unfollow. I would say be a little bit more open, a little bit more inclusive, you know, when you're starting. So I'm going to give this guy a follow and we'll see what happens. I wanted to be able to show you, see following, great, so I'll hit escape. Okay, here's another good example. This guy right here, the balance on this is off. He clearly has gone and followed all these people, is not tweeting very much. When he's doing this, I'm not going to click on this. I don't know what that is. Same thing here. What does that mean? Is that just a conversation? Here's another that's just a picture. Look, that's not good enough. It has to be good content in order to have me connect, so I'm not going to connect with him. This guy looks pretty good. We're following one another. Great. This guy right here, look, not a ton of followers, but that's okay. That doesn't matter to me as much as, hey, look, this guy's interested in some of the same things I am, seems to be producing good content. Some of it I'm probably not going to be able to read. Doesn't matter. That's okay. Okay, we're following one another. Great. Okay, I was hoping I'd hit one of these just as an example so you could see the example of some spam or bots or other things in here that are just not very valuable. This I recognize because this service does this quite a bit. This is spam. Notice that all they're doing is sending a bot out here with a profile. I will see this come up often. The more followers that you get, the more that you'll sort of get this type of thing. Generally speaking, like I said, I could block or report them, but I don't feel like it's worth the time. I just sort of quickly go through, and of course I don't follow. And of course, it goes without saying, but I may as well underscore this. Under no circumstances should you be buying followers on Twitter. One, it doesn't do you any good because those are not actual followers. And while your follower count is a metric that has some value, a little bit, right? People might see you as someone who's connected. it's based on nothing, right? It's based on, if you're purchasing 5,000 or 10,000 followers, what good does that really do you, right? Because then when people see that these are not actual followers, you're not actually getting engagement, it's actually going to look bad for you. And so I would recommend that there is just no circumstance where I feel like that's a really good idea. Okay, so that should serve as an overview of just how to manage the whole follow and followers thing. Hope that you find that to be helpful. Like I said, if you devote a good 10-15 minutes to this every day, or give what you can, it doesn't need to take over your life, but really it will help you to keep up on it, and you'll start to see your audience grow, your community grow, and that's going to do good things for you and your business when you have an audience. Hope you find that to be helpful, and on the next segment I'll talk about direct messages.